actually none of that was recorded, but we're back, and we'll nothing else.
We'll give everybody that's not here the Spark Notes version of that.
Yeah, so you guys actually just got a nice little lecture, and now we can get started with the screen share.
So, okay, I'm going to go into, like we said today, we're going to talk about social media. For those of you who don't know, I've been doing social media management for ad agencies and for companies since 2009. I actually started Hilton's social media campaign for them back in when Facebook was just starting out their business rollout. So I'm not going to say that I'm the social media guru, but I do have a lot of knowledge with that. And then Lauren brings a lot of knowledge as far as, she's been doing network marketing for a little while now, and she has a lot of really, really great info too, as far as, specifically bringing that into the network marketing realm, because, I haven't done this before, but Lauren has, so she knows what works as far as, that. So we just put together a little presentation for you. The only thing that we ask is that you just hold your questions till the end. We're going to try to go through this as quickly as possible, so that way we can have an open forum at the end. So if you have any questions, write them down. If you have a piece of paper, that would probably also be good, because I do have slides, but I'm going to be expanding on them, and Lauren has a few slides too, so she's going to be talking about those. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I have everything over here. So we are now, okay. Can everybody see the screen? Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm all the way at the end. So let me scroll back up to the beginning. Okay, so social media strategy. This is a nice, pretty page that I made, guys. So everybody clap at that. Okay, so social media strategy, the best thing that you're going to do to, build your brand as far as social media is to have excellent personal branding and authentic and consistent social media. Those are major keys to success as far as, social media. And then, I said, regardless of what product or industry you're in, so this is pretty specific, whether or not you have another company that you're applying this to, or whether or not you're solely focusing on direct sellers, it doesn't matter. Personal branding and your use of social media is going to be a huge contributor to your success or lack thereof. Your friends don't want to feel like you're a walking billboard. They don't want to feel like they're being targeted. And they certainly don't want to feel like you've changed into a different person. That's a great way for people to unfollow you on Facebook. So it's very important to fit your business into your personal brand in, an authentic and engaging way. So if you haven't talked about wine before, you don't want to just all of a sudden go ahead and talk about wine 24/7. You want it to fit seamlessly into your personal brand. And there's a lot of ways for you to do that, even if it hasn't been part of your personal brand before. And those are some of the things that we are going to get into. Let me go down to Lauren. This is one of your slides.
Okay. All right. So I wanted to just really quickly mention that we've talked about this before, but this is one of the most exciting parts about having your own business. And that's the fact that you get to really design your business avatar. So that's a whole little cool marketing thing in itself. And you can Google how to build your business avatar and things like that. It's just
I have a PDF I can post.
Yeah. Okay. So, but what that really means is that if you are Kelly probably wouldn't be marketing towards male bodybuilders that don't drink. You know what I mean? You have to, that's not her at all. So you don't want to make your target market so big and your business partner field so big that you think that you would work with anyone. You might have that personality that you're I can work with anybody, but really we're all getting older. We all are kind of honing in on the people that we want to spend our time with. I know that all of us on this call, we weren't we didn't hand select one another to, necessarily tonight I'm going to work with these 9 people. This was all just divine intervention that we're all here. But it's also because our personalities, we've each, Kelly has put off this type of energy that she has for her business partners. I've put off that sort of energy for mine. And it's not a coincidence that we're all getting along just fine, right? So I want you to really hone in. And it's not you being snobby. It's not you being picky. We want you to be picky. Like, because you have to think, not today to get like a certain rank, or, you know, by Vegas, you want to be this certain rank. That's all well and good. But are you going to get to that certain rank by attracting the wrong people? Because I can guarantee you it's not worth it. I promise you, Kelly mentioned that I bring like a different network marketing perspective into the mix, and it's true. Don't waste your time when it comes to, if you have a gut feeling about somebody, it's probably true. So like I said, like as we've all kind of evolved and are getting older, like if it's someone that you're like, I would not want to go out of my way to spend time with them on a daily basis. And I mean that in the most Christian sense of the word. Like, I mean, not that you wouldn't want to like help someone, but like, are you wanting to do business with someone? Business, like this is your business. So who would your ideal business partner be? So I want you to start thinking about that. And we might want to follow up with that like in a few days, like, you know, like post your responses or send us that individually. But I want you to probably think about like the top 5 or maybe even 10 characteristics of a person, like your ideal person that you would want to work with. And that's really important that you hone in on that. So I guess we can move on to the next slide.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. And then just to expand on that, you know, if you look at your social media right now, like what is your personal brand and what you're putting out there? Is that doing something that's going to attract those people? Or like, you know, if you're on social media right now and you're making yourself cringe with what you're posting, like you're probably making the people that you want to, you know, engage with, you're probably doing the same thing to them. So it's not just like, yeah, like, you know, if somebody makes you want to gouge your eyes out, like even if they like absolutely totally want to sign up, you probably don't want them as business partner. Still probably don't turn them away, but like, you know, there are people that I've hopped on the phone with that I know for a fact, like they're going to listen to this call. Like they've asked me about it, so I'll talk to them, but I know that it's not something that's for them. But the next thing that I'm going to talk about is your story. And I know that we talked a little bit about this last week, but you know, building a personal brand, especially one that resonates with the type of people that you want, you know, the type of people that you want to be your business partners, is all about what kind of story you tell, you know, who you are, who you want to be. You know, we talk about what's your why all the time. And Natalie did a really great job earlier this week, you know, talking about, you know, why it's so important for her to build this at-home business and have this extra income. It needs to be clear and consistent all the time. You can't constantly be changing who you are and why you want to do what you do. And it needs to be authentic. It needs to be, you know, your own personal brand. Like for me, I've had a fashion blog for like over 3 years, and it's been like a fashion lifestyle blog. I post about wine, I post about style. You know, and I'm a little bit sarcastic, and that's none of that has changed. You know, I haven't, the only thing that's happened is that I now share a little bit about this business opportunity. It has to be your story, and it has to be a continuation of the story that you already have. And you have to be proud of it. Like it can't just be like, you know, something that you keep in the closet. You know, if whatever the story you're telling right now, if you're not proud to tell it, and if it's not something that you look at with love, then you're not going to be good at telling it. And you know, your enthusiasm, it shows. I don't think that I am, like, self-admitted, extremely monotone. Like that's why, you know, a lot of people, they do a really great job of like doing those like audio things, like when they're talking to people to show their enthusiasm. Lauren's upline Brandy is great at it, but I'm like, I had a wine tasting today, and I was like reading the tasting notes, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I sound literally like a robot right now. I'm just monotone. But I think that people can tell when I'm talking about direct sellers and when I'm talking about this, that, you know, I am enthusiastic about it. And, you know, when it's wine, you know, wine you can get anywhere. So what are you going to do to differentiate yourself from a liquor store or from a different wine club? And this is a story that you're going to end up building your brand around. That's why, when I'm talking about building your website or doing something, I'm saying like, you need to add little pieces of you in there. It's not just about the line. It's not just about the business opportunity. It's about what this business opportunity means to you. Like for me, a huge part of my story is that like, I have been doing the same thing since 2009. I have been in social media management. I am the social media account manager right now at an ad agency. I manage social media for Hilton. I manage social media for a bunch of other hotels. Like I have literally been doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I was not moving up, and I was hitting my head against the wall. And I wasn't making enough money to even really contribute to my family. So, for me to be able to have a job that gives me the opportunity, a year or two or 5 years down the road, or however long it takes my husband to say like, screw this, I hate the Army, I want to get out. Like, it would be really nice for me to be able to say, yeah, well, you know what, you take an E, you figure out what you want to do. I've got the finances for a little while and I can do this. And you want to know what? Direct sellers with the timing and positioning of this company, like this is what's going to do it. And that's why I'm passionate not only about building my team, but building your teams. I mean, Natalie, like I talked to Natalie on the phone and we like literally have never met before. And I haven't met Gina either. And like, I talk to you guys all the time. And, like I want you guys to be just as successful. If not, I would love it if you guys like surpass me and like, like blew me out of the water. That would be like the best thing ever for me. But like, those are the stories that people want to hear. They don't want to just hear like, oh, I drink wine and it's fun and blah, blah, blah. They every once in a while you need to throw like this is real. Like this is going to help my family kind of thing in there. So now that I've kind of gone off on a tangent on that, this is a really cool quote that I found, and I think that it's really relevant. Social media is like a cocktail party. There's great potential to promote your products within social media, but it must be done in the right way. You wouldn't enter a room and immediately start talking about yourself and pushing your products. You can't enter the online world and expect everyone to be immediately fascinated with your message. And this is something like why I keep on saying to you guys, like, be patient, guys, be patient. Like it's not literally people who, I don't think that anybody that was on here was friends with me on Facebook for the first month and a half, but I was doing Facebook Lives like, well, Lauren, obviously you signed me up, but I was doing Facebook Lives like 2 or 3 times a week. And I had these people that were like messaging me and they're like, oh my gosh, like you must be making a killing with this wine club. Like you're doing so great. Like I want to buy this wine because you're doing so awesome. And I'm just like, I haven't made a dime. Like, I'm literally like, I haven't made anything. But I'm like, yeah, it's great. It's such a blessing. Like, and there's a fine line between like, you never want to like lie to somebody and say, I'm making, a lot of money when you're not. But, I completely believed from the beginning, and I had to believe because I did put like, not an abnormal amount of hope, but I did put a lot of hope into this. And so I really, really wanted to make this work, and I was determined to make this work. So, when people did talk to me about it, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I love this. And, the wines are awesome and I do love it. And I have made a lot of money, but like back then I wasn't making anything, but people thought I was making like tons of money. I don't know why, but, cause I never said I was making money, but, so that leads me to how, like, I know that that's all well and good, but let's talk about how you're going to manage your social media. Your social media content should always provide value to your audience. And that's either, inspirational quotes, behind the scenes posts, success stories, humor, recommendations for your favorite products, share your favorite recipes, ask engaging questions that have nothing to do with wine. Don't just talk at people all the time and like bark at people about your wine products. And create original content and differentiate yourself by posting things that everybody else isn't posting alongside of you. I've made a lot of, great posts and a lot of really great, like a lot of good graphics and stuff for you to use. And I totally oh, sorry, Lauren, I was just reading whatever you posted. Sorry, squirrel moment. So like, I totally want you guys to feel comfortable with, using whatever I post, but at the same time, like if it doesn't feel like it's something that would come out of your mouth, like just because it worked for me doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. And that's because I have a completely different personality than you. So I really encourage you guys to, you can use the graphics that I use, or you can use different ones, but really, get some original content, and differentiate yourself, because especially, if you have a lot of friends that are with direct sellers, like I mean, now I have a ton of friends that are with direct sellers just because like, I friended a lot of people, but if 5 of your friends are all posting basically the same exact thing, like, your friends are seeing it like 6 times and it's not unique and it's not different for them. So, post some original content, take whatever I say or take whatever Lauren says, or, something, if you see it on Wine Warriors and you love it, and twist it and, reword it and make it into your own. Because, especially that's going to really resonate with your people a lot. So those are some things that I would really suggest. But, as far as social media goes, like whatever you post, whether it's on your personal wall or whether or not you decide to make, a business page or on your Instagram, make sure that, it's something that provides value to people. Don't post just to post. That's the worst mistake that you can make. Quality over quantity, especially for me with Instagram. It's such a visual platform. I have a lot of pictures that I would love to post on Instagram, but I won't, because they don't fit within my, feed aesthetic. And that's something that I really work on. And, that's a completely other 40-minute Zoom that we can do at some point. So I'm not going to really focus on that.
Kelly, I just want to add something really, really fast to that. Okay, so I don't want you guys to overcomplicate this. So just because, so when Kelly was mentioning earlier, kind of start figuring out what your brand is. Oh, shoot, really? Okay, well, I might have to just start this over or something. Okay, so think about what you're already posting and what gets traction. So if it's like you posting about your children and that's like what gets traction, then you need to go with that. Like, you don't need to feel like you need to start posting completely opposite of what you're posting now, because it's not like you don't think wine and children, like your kids go along. That actually is a beautiful pairing. So go with what is natural for you. So I just want to, that is clearly adding value. So if people are enjoying seeing you post about your children, continue doing that. If you completely stop doing that and then you start bombarding your Facebook or social media with wine posts, then that's going to stop adding value, and that's going to start being kind of like a cancer for your social media. So I wanted to segue into the next thing.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about what not to post on social media. It should not be a constant stream of information about direct sellers, because if you do that, then you're not going to be able to get people on the phone because they already feel like they know everything about it. That's why, the website gives as much information, after people look at your website, especially if I made one for you, they want more information, they absolutely need to get on the phone, because you do not have any more information to give them, because that gives them all the information they need. It also shouldn't be a journal for everything negative that happens in your business or your life. Every once in a while, if I have a bad day, I do post about it on social media, but I'm kind of sarcastic and a little bit funny about it. But negativity attracts negative people. And I know for me, I don't want to be in business with negative people. So I don't even bother, people that are negative, I don't really even reach out to them. And then we already just spoke on, the unoriginal or inauthentic things. And I'm not knocking people, adapting other posts. I'm just saying that, there's a lot of great resources out there for you if you want to, come up with original things. And, you just need to whatever you do, you need to adapt it to whatever your personality is. I'm a very sarcastic person, but I'm also a very blunt and raw person. So I like tell it like it is. Lauren knows this because like half the time when she messages me, and she's like, hey, like today, this morning, she's like, happy Sunday. Can we talk today about the Zoom? And I'm like, yup. And she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yup.
Like, you didn't even say yep. You're like, can we talk at this time? I'm like, okay.
Very to the point. I lived in New York for 3 years, so it's still good. But okay, so moving on. The goal of a cohesive and strong brand is to have everyone that visits your social media networks feel the same connection to you and your brand. You want them to have instant brand recognition, so when they see your images, they immediately think of you. And this is a lot like to do with a lot of your visual content, but it also should be the way that you post and the words that you use and the words that you don't use. I love putting together brand style guides. That's something that I encourage all my social media clients to do. But when you're creating a cohesive brand, you need to think that, when somebody sees your brand, they should easily be able to identify and connect it with you. Since social media is such a strong visual tool, branding is critical. So, you can think of types of images you want to use, the fonts and the color scheme. For me with my Facebook more my Instagram, like I'm extremely, extremely careful about like making sure that all like my color story and everything, connects. But, even like with quotes and stuff, using similar fonts and things like that. Another thing is everything you post should reflect who you are and the ethos of your personal brand. Play to your strengths and take time to curate your online presence. Think of it as an opportunity to, put out the best version of yourself. We always talk about how, social media isn't real life, like you're just seeing the highlight reel. And that's true. And, when it comes to business, like there's not really anything wrong with that. Like, yeah, you do want to throw in a behind the scenes every once in a while, but you want to put the best version of yourself out there. And you want to like make sure that people think that you have your crap together. You don't want to be posting like images that have been saved 12 times and are grainy or whatever, or, have different websites on them. Like, if you really like a quote and you can't find the source for it, go into Canva, make your own graphic and, do it over again. Another thing is every single person that comes into your network is essentially a lead. They are displaying interest in your business. So think of them like shoppers browsing your store to see if they like anything. Somebody sees something that you post on Facebook. Like, I know that I get into these things where I will start stalking someone and then I'm going to like end up like on their like second cousin's Facebook page or, whatever. But, the thing is you really have to think of your like relationship with people, or your social media feed as going into a store. Yeah, Natalie, I'm going to actually, Lauren and I were talking about that. I am going to post a Canva tutorial. I made this on Canva. It's super easy. So I'm going to obviously do a tutorial on that like one of these days coming up soon. So like you really just want to create a relationship with that person and you want them to scroll through your social media feed and feel like, it's the same person and it's not like a split personality situation talking. Hey, Lauren, can we hop on another Zoom after this or, okay. So anybody that wants to keep going after this, we're going to keep going. I'm going to try to get through the slides first and then we can hop back on if we want to. To get engagement, you must engage first. So don't expect somebody to express interest in you if you're not expressing interest in them. Comment on people's Facebook stuff, like their Facebook. Don't Natalie and I are in a group that's really, really good about making sure that people do not like post and run. Like you can't do a drive-by posting. Like you have to stay and you have to engage and you have to engage with people. And that is how you're going to get people to be interested in you. You can't just like post something on some random yard sale thing and then like walk away and expect to get like 5 people. This is what I'm going to spend the remaining time on, content game plan. Spend 1 to 2 hours in the beginning of the week planning out content, planning out posts, making graphics in Canva if you need to. Create a grand style guide, choose colors, fonts, and images that fit your personal brand. Use Canva, which we just mentioned. And there's 2 sites called Pixabay and Unsplash.com. And those are free image sites, and you can get free images that don't have any royalties from there for free. So you can use those to create and curate content as far as like wine related content. Pinterest is another great one. You can just find articles on there that are interesting. I have a complete Pinterest board that's dedicated to interesting articles. And then have authentic engagement with your followers and audience. Don't pay for likes. Don't pay like to, you know, have somebody go on Instagram and like post for you and comment, because everybody knows that they're robots. Like, don't do that. Just, you know, focus on a few people every week and be a real person. Like, that's the whole point of social media. Like, you know, I feel like sometimes we're just not making friends anymore. And be willing to experiment and continue to research what works and what doesn't work. If something doesn't work, it doesn't mean that you're not working, that you're a failure. So I guess we're going to probably have to hop off here. And Lauren's going to go in the Facebook group and post a new Zoom link.
Yep. I'm going to go ahead and stop this one. I already have one ready to go. I just can't be on two. So yeah. So if you guys are all cool, like, I'm going to seriously just turn around and post this next link right in the Facebook group. If you guys want to hop on, is that good?
And if you don't, you don't.
If you don't, it's okay. I understand. But we have a few more minutes.
We'll do the question and answer stuff next.
Okay. Let me go ahead and stop. All right. See you in a minute.